People might hate me about this, or realtors might. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that we're taking the professionalism back in this industry. And people that are worried about this stuff, worried about being more professional and learning something new, it's concerning to me.
The real estate biz is drastically changing, and modern real estate success can't be learned in some old course manual. This is everything they never told you about real estate, where industry leaders expose secrets to success, contemporary lead generation, and how to dominate social media. All moderated by your host, the real estate goat and queen of social media, Carrie Sauvé.
Welcome back, everybody. I've been on a little bit of a break, so this is the first episode of season 2 for Everything They Never Told You About Real Estate. I'm your host, Carrie, and I have a super special guest today. He's probably my favorite team leader in Southern Ontario. It's Chris Knighton from the Knighton Real Estate Advisors, and he is a realtor at eXp. Can I say it? Because we're not airing until you've actually joined, but yay, you have joined eXp, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I like that. Your favorite realtor in Southern Ontario in the Grimsby region, 2 kilometers outside of downtown Grimsby. So I love that. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. I'm super excited to be a part of eXp. It's I used to have my own brokerage for like 10 years in Houston. Then when I came back to Canada, I was with KW, which I love, still love. So it's venturing out past that. It's like this is a new adventure, and I'm excited for our team. I'm excited for myself and kind of what that has to offer. So it's I'm incredibly excited, and it's more excited than I've been a long time in this business. I think I personally need that jolt of energy to keep pushing forward, and our team is seeing that as well. So it's, I've said it before, I'm really, really excited. More excited than in such a long time.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, like eXp is obviously, I'm an eXp agent. eXp is amazing, but sometimes, we just need to change things up and, freshen up our business and give us a new love for real estate. Sometimes that's all we really need. And especially, times like right now, it's been tough out there for a lot of realtors for over a year now. Some are struggling, and, wherever you can find your motivation is key. So like, Chris, where do you find your motivation?
Well, that's a daily thing for me, but I really do. And I've given lots of talks on this and the importance of having a really strong mission, vision, value, beliefs, and perspective statement that as a team we come back to every quarter. But that for me is the most important thing. Now, I get a lot of agents, but I just want to do deals, Chris. I just want to, make money. And I said, that's great. But when you have direction and a vision of where you want to go with a values and belief system that's going to guide you along the way, if you're having a great day and a great week and a great month, you can come back and say, I'm living within that mission and vision that I have for myself. And if you're having a bad month or a bad year, whatever it is, I can tell you right now, if you have a strong mission, vision, value, you're not living within that, or that mission, vision, value that you have for yourself is not true to who you are. And yeah, you want to do more deals, but when you are very aligned in the best way possible with what it is that's important to you, the business magically happens on its own, because you don't have to worry about getting motivated. I mean, motivation is bullshit, to be honest with you, because anyone can get somebody motivated. I'm really good at getting people motivated, but unless you have intrinsic motivation, inspiration, like internally, to push through the tough times and to stay on that track for that vision that you have, because if you just do anything with consistency over time, you will get better at it. And I think it's for most people where they give up. You and I had this conversation a little while before. We might have had a first go at this thing here. However, it's what it is. it's not a hard business. I just did business planning, a pre-business planning kind of session with our people. It's not hard. You just need to talk to more people and set more appointments and help more people. And it's not hard. Just it's hard to keep doing the things when you don't see instant gratification. And when we're dealing with somebody's largest assets they've usually ever owned or ever selling, major decisions, it doesn't just happen like that. So it's to have that mission, vision, value is more important than I think anybody can put emphasis on unless you do it for a long period of time, which I've been doing. And that's made almost like, made me feel like invincible because I just keep moving towards it every single day, regardless of what happens.
Yeah. And I think that one of the most important things to me, and that's attributed to my success in my new business, has been proximity to people, the right people. And I don't know if that was a major decision maker for you, deciding factor on whether you moved to eXp or not. eXp is a great brokerage in itself, but really aligning yourself with some powerhouses and people who just want to support you is a game changer in this business. And I didn't really understand that concept. I've been a realtor for 14 years now. I hated realtors for like the first 12 years. I did. I didn't do anything social. I only talked to them to literally get a deal done. But really, it wasn't until I opened myself up and really started to find other realtors that to align with and to model my business after, and that I wanted to surround myself by, that my career took a major shift. And I think that that's a really important factor that people are forgetting in general, in life and business. Is that part of the reason that you joined eXp? Could I say that?
No, absolutely. And there's no disrespect to anyone who I was in business with before, but we were basically on an island by ourselves. I've had this office here for the last 8 years, and I think we function at the highest level. And this isn't to pump our own tires either, but we have this standard that some people get uncomfortable around because, or even doing things like mission, vision, value that just talked about, like these things that when we push the level of discomfort, we become better. And we kind of created this culture. There's probably about 18 people on our team now. We have 2 other agents coming on, so we'll have about 20 by the end of the year, that we're pushing each other in a way with positivity and growth mindset. We're always pushing forward. And again, some people that aren't aligned with that will kind of hold you back. And not that we were held back in any way other than the fact that there was nothing to really push us forward where I was before. And the thought of being surrounded by more like-minded people that I can look up to. Like, we'd been number one in our office for 8 years, which is nice. It's fun and everything, but like, I don't want to be number one. I want to be, again, not chasing somebody to be comparison. I don't care. I don't care if I'm number one or whatever. I want to be the best that we can be, and get all cheesy. Be the best version you can be every single day, and you'll be wildly successful. I live by that every single day. So when I can do that, but then model after people that I get excited to communicate with, to see their ideas, to see them push forward. Just the limited time frame I've been with interacting with eXp, especially now, because we almost moved over 2 years ago. Now it's one of those things where I'm like, it's just this spark that's really pushing me, and my team's seeing it. Like, I'm seeing it myself, where like I'm more excited than ever, because it is. You can try to be the best version of yourself and be consistent, which I do every single day. However, it can be somewhat draining if you don't have something that vision we talked about. My vision is now bigger because of the people I'm communicating with. So now my mission, vision, value is changing and growing, and I get to level up. I feel like I've hit that kind of plateau of who I am, and I keep doing things to move forward. But to have massive growth, I think you need to have that bigger vision that's in place there. So that's really, really helped me.
Yeah, 100%. I agree. I feel like as realtors, we're local realtors for the most part. And when we get involved with these brick and mortar brokerages, we forget that there's an entire world or continent of people that we can learn from. And what makes EXP different is that it opens up a world of knowledge outside of our local area. And most agents don't even know that it exists, which is wild. But I am
Yeah.
super excited to have you over at EXP. This is, I feel like sometimes I talk to people, they think I'm fucking crazy, and I feel like people are really catching on, and there's so many things that I wouldn't have done if I hadn't moved to an international brokerage like eXp that's all about collaboration. I would have never started this podcast. I would have never started my coaching program. You know what I mean? Like so many things that have, brought me into international success for my other business would have never happened. And we don't know what we don't know, right, Chris? Like, so
Absolutely.
let's make more people aware. And I'm really, really happy for you. And I just want to be the first one to welcome you, even though we're recording this today. You go live in EXP Thursday. So welcome.
Yes.
And you're going to love it. It's such a great environment. It's going to be a great time.
Absolutely. And I'm already excited. Like some of the people I've been talking to, because kind of word gets out there and everything. And again, I'm excited to collaborate with people. That's what I do. That's one of my pillars of my mission is like to build an environment where I can connect with and help more people be the best version of themselves. Again, all that cheesiness, but I mean that gets me excited where I can like connect with someone, show them maybe what we're doing that's going to level them up a bit. Like I've been talking with a bunch of different brokerages where they're like, "Oh my God, like what do I owe you for your time?" I'm like, "No, this is. I mean, if we get into coaching later on, it's fine. But if I have a conversation with somebody, I get to learn from them first of all, and then I can see kind of like, hey, if I've gone through that, how nice is that? If someone's going through, I've been through plenty of tough times in almost 20 years in this business, and for most people, I can really connect and resonate with around anything when it has to do with the business for sure, but like in personal life as well. When you have that connection with people, they get to feel, never feel alone in this. Everybody feels alone in this business, even if you are on a big team, like you can still feel super alone. So when you can help people kind of see the light, that's the consistency. Whether you're having a great day, perfect, keep doing it. Whether you're having a shit day, perfect, keep doing it. You keep doing it and doing it. And I think it helps us see past the crap that's in front of you right now and say, oh, that person's done, they've pushed forward and look where they've been to, right? You get to relate with people in a big way. So I'm, again, back to my original statement, I'm just super excited to be able to connect with more people.
Yeah, it's great. I can't wait to see you at eXpCon next year. You're gonna have a blast. October was wild. It was so wild. I think I did 3 stages of that conference. I didn't leave the casino for the first 3 days, and I had the best time ever. Glenn knows how to throw a party, let me tell you. So there's events all the time, all over the world, which is great. You can connect with people from all areas. I'm now doing consulting with a mega team in Florida, a mega team in Texas. It's just it's great to work with people internationally. I love that aspect of it. Let's talk a little bit about social media, because you're one of the accounts that I follow. I really enjoy your content. You're one of the agents that's doing it right as a social media and AI coach. I've been teaching social media for longer than AI, obviously. And you're definitely one of the agents that's doing it properly and consistently. Now, we all go through little lulls where we kind of like drop off for a little bit. Do you see a huge change from when you're posting video content every day to when you're not?
Yes, and I've made a very consistent effort, or conscious effort, I should say, to be consistent in my posting. And like if I wasn't in real estate, I tell people this all the time. I talked to a guy last night. He's like, "Oh, I love your social media at this event I was doing." I'm like, "Thanks." He goes, "Oh, you look like you just love it." I'm like, "I fucking hate it." I just, it's work. It's like, gotta, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to put, for me, I still feel stupid talking into a camera and whatnot and all these things. But what I've realized, is that when you do things consistently and you're honest about who you are, that comes across as relatable with people. And as much as, take all the ego bullshit aside and whatnot, like, our jobs are to connect with people. And if they see you consistently being true to yourself and being true to what it is that who you are, they're going to connect with that. Even if they don't connect with you on a personal level. Like, I still play senior AAA hockey. I own a senior AAA team. Like, it's funny. Like, I coach my kids hockey. Like, hockey's a huge part of my life. And I connect with people that see the hockey stuff and they're like, I know nothing about hockey, but it humanizes who I am and what I do and what I like to do. And it's not just all about business, because especially in residential real estate, or even if it was commercial, whatever it is you're doing, people want to have a human connection. And I think with the advent of AI and social media and technology, people still, they're craving a human connection. So you need to be doing it consistently, because somebody might not see it at one time, or they might not be there. And if your message is consistent about who you are and the value that you're providing and what it is that's important to you, people start to expect that. And the one thing I wanted to make sure of, I don't know what I'm doing. Me and my social media guy, he gives me ideas and I give him, like, we just kind of roll with it on a very organic level. But when you're doing it, again, with consistency every single day, people start to expect what it is. And I was telling a guy yesterday, if you're just a realtor doing videos, just professional videos on whatever it is, that's all people are going to know you for, which is good. And that might help. But then if you connect in that you like this guy like snowboarding, and if you have kids, like, you're going to connect with people more because you are an actual human that they get to trust in with one of their largest investments. So consistency is key, but I also think consistency with being true to who you are. And that's the most important. Authenticity, the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, 100%. When you're trying to generate business and gain clients online who have never met you before, there needs to be a level of trust there. And the only way that you're going to build trust is not by pumping out listing. It's by showing people who you actually are, your values, the authenticity. That's where that comes in. And that's the only way to generate trust. I got something I want to share with you after this. Yeah, I created a content matrix table with AI. I'm going to share it with you because it's going to change your social media guy's job. It's going to make his job a lot easier. It's beautiful. You know me, I'm all AI, and I'm just geeking out over here every night at like midnight when my husband goes to bed. That's when I do all my research. And yeah, I built something really, really cool. And I love sharing it with people who put the effort in and the consistency in. Because I get a lot so I've got tens of thousands of followers on social media, and I always have. I've always run my entire business on social media. That's who I am back in the day, 14 years ago, when it was just pictures on Instagram of myself. And people were like, what is she doing? Who does she think she is? I'll tell you who I am. I'm the person generating all my business from social media. But everyone that I coach now, they're like, well, it's so easy for you to say. You've had all these followers for a really long time. You have a great presence. And when I switched my business over, because I still do production, but my main focus is my consulting at this point. I'm sure you know that by my content. Yeah. When I switched over my target, I shift over my entire content, all the ideas, what I was putting out there on social media. And I went from targeting buyers and sellers to realtors. And literally it took me 60 days of consistent posting and content creation. I'm talking about the right content creation to start generating. Now I'm generating over 100 realtor follows a week, which is wild. And I'm getting people again. Now it's not buyers and sellers. I'm getting realtors reaching out. How can you help me with AI? How can you help me with this? So my point is that if you're doing it right and your content creation is on point and you're consistent, you will generate business no matter what, your target is and what your business is. Because regardless of my followers, regardless of how great I was on social media, I flipped my entire business and managed to do the exact same thing all over again in a matter of 2 months. So Chris is right.
Consistency.
100%. 100%. Now, so we've covered, obviously, social media is very important. I'd like to bring up something. Websites are fantastic. Right. Everybody has websites. I have this vision that in 2 years, maybe not even, we as realtors are going to need to be searchable on AI. And what would make somebody searchable on AI wouldn't be the SEO driven website. It would be the volume of valuable content creation on all platforms. Do you agree?
I do. And that's, I think that's something that we have to really be aware of, because it's tough. And I think people get overwhelmed. Where do I start? And then you don't get any consistency that we talk about. You try to do way too many things. So I think you're going to be good at a few things. And I tell my clients, or my team this all the time. If you're lead generating, what are your 3 pillars? And I think, again, across all platforms, it's very hard to stay, unless you have a huge team. And like, again, you've put across what you can. If it's the content that's going to be consistent across the platforms that you use the most, that are going to like find the most traction. So whatever you're doing, you have to put it out there to see what's working. And again, with that consistency, you get to say, hey, this is working. This isn't. I can still continue to work on the things that are working really well. If that's working, that's consistently bringing you business, or if it's like searching through AI. But being able to have a metric or a baseline and say, okay, because if I've done nothing, I got to tell people that I said, if the best way to meet somebody is either door knocking, open house, face to face, there's no better way, in my opinion. People say, open house doesn't work. Well, how many have you done? I did 2 this year. I'm like, well, you don't have a baseline because you did 2. It's just like with anything. If you're not doing enough, that you can't give yourself enough data in order to make adjustments and see what's working. So you have to do all those things. And if it comes down to that, like I said, I think AI has changed the way we do things. You need to start at least doing something, whatever that is. It doesn't have to be everything all at once, because you're going to be, I don't think anything's going to work. So focus on a few things and start from there to see what works.
Yeah. And I think it's important to point out, a lot of agents have no interest in social media, and that's fine. There are so many ways to prospect. The key is to be consistent. Like, you can't go door knocking once every week and expect to generate business. That needs to be your full-time job. Do you know what I mean? I just feel like you need to do as much as possible before you can actually gauge whether this system is working for you. And that's where realtors are missing the mark. Now, with AI, I can generate some banging scripts for you while you're door knocking. I can come up with some great open house ideas for you. I can generate a whole prospecting plan for you for a quarter. Does that help? Yes, but you still have to do the work, right? And there's no magic.
Can I share something real quick?
Yeah.
Can I share something? Okay. I love whiteboards, and you're going to cut. You'll edit this stuff, but I want to show you one thing. Sorry. I just happen to have a whiteboard here. I wasn't planning to use it today. But
Yeah.
have you heard of be, do, have?
No.
Have you ever heard of be, do, have?
No.
Okay. This is everything in life. Okay, be, do, have. Can you read that? Is it big enough? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
So 100% of people, or 99% of people, they want to have the life, or they want to have the success, or whatever it is, whether it's real estate or whatnot. I'm going to move on this side. So 100% of people want to have that.
Mm-hmm.
About 5% of the people actually do the work consistently, but then about 1% of people, top 1% in anything, are the ones that are willing to become somebody different. They're doing these things, not just making it a habit, making a lifestyle to have these things. And what I see, imagine these are like gears. This is going to be terrible drawing, so these are like, gears. So this is where I see people fail. They're either on the B side, where they go to all the classes, they get all the information from you, and they have all this content, but they don't actually do anything with it. They're becoming somebody that knows all these things, but they don't actually do anything. So they're focused on becoming. Then you have, which I see mostly in this business, people don't want to have, and they complain about all the market sucks, or the prices are down, interest rates are there. They're only focused on the stuff they don't have, right? They're focused on the have, focus on the be. The people that actually go there and do it, and they fail, they actually move this whole entire thing. So they're doing and doing and doing and failing and getting better and becoming somebody at the same time. And while they're doing it, they're actually starting to move that have gear, where they start to, after a while, as you're trying to get this do thing going, you're doing it and doing it and doing it. All of a sudden, you start to become somebody that's willing and able to do these things and becoming better at it. Because as you screw up, like scripting is a huge part of my life. But the more that I do something, get out there and door knock or talk on the phone or do this on social media, I get better at it. So then I get more. And on the have part, I get to actually achieve more. And then what this does, it's this self-fulfilling wheel that as I do more, I get to become somebody different that gets to have more, gets me more excited to keep doing it and just keep growing, expanding. But most people focus on just learning and not doing, which is the B, or focusing on what they don't have. Thank you. That's my TED Talk.
I love that. You know what, Chris? You're so right. You're so right. And unfortunately, as coaches, we can teach, we can try and motivate, but it's going to be up to that person to follow through after they've learned.
Yeah. It's the dude. And I tell everybody, Chris, how do I did it. I was doing, what's your secret? What's the secret? And my secret is talk to more people. That's it.
Right.
And then provide value to more people. And then ask them, hey, what question do you have in real estate? Have you thought about selling in the near future? No? When do you think about selling? Perfect. I'll follow up with you consistently over the next 5 years. And then when you're ready, you have somebody you know, like, and trust. And I don't care if you're selling now or in 5 years. I just want to be that guy that can provide you value. And then you don't have competition, right? It's that blue ocean strategy where you don't have to worry about competition because there's nobody out there that's provided the value that you have. But you have to do these things day after day after day. And it's super boring. It's it becomes really unexciting for 99% of your job if you're doing it for that growth, but you continually do it. And whether it's in AI or social media or cold call, whatever it is, but if you don't do it with consistency, you don't have anything.
Yeah. And I feel like providing value is so, so very important. The more you provide people and the more you help them, the more it's going to come back to you, which is something that is so simple, but I didn't really believe in for so long. And now I'm just helping people every day, literally every day. Somebody can text me or Instagram message me, hey, how do I do this? And I'll just show them. And I get realtors who in my life who say to me, but you charge for that. Like, why are you giving all this away for free? And I'm like, because it's going to come back to me. And it does. I can literally sit down with somebody and and help them for hours. And even though I've shared so many of my trade secrets with them, they're still going to come on and support my business financially as well. So I think that's really important. The more you give and the more you help, the better off you're going to be in all areas of your life, not just your business.
There's I love that. In all areas of your life, there's like a good thing. I love, one of my favorite books is Five Love Languages, and he's talking about what's the percentage like you should, in any relationship, the 50-50, 70-30, whatever it is. And no, it's 100-0. Like, that's unconditional. Like, if you can actually have, it's tough, it really is, but like unconditional value, unconditional love, whatever it is, because you give what you can with zero expectation in return. Because regardless of that person's going to sell with you or buy with you, or if your spouse, if they're going to, give you that kind of same love back or whatever it may be, or your friends' relationships, you give regardless. And that way you're in control, because I don't have to worry about what somebody else is giving me to guide what I'm giving them. That way you're always in control of what you're doing. You get to, again, live within your mission, vision, value, whatever that is. You get to be unconditional on your actions, because if you're conditional on what other people are giving you back, you're actually constrained by their actions. So you can actually lead yourself better with more freedom by just saying, here's who I am, here's what I'm giving. If it sticks to you, resonates, you want to use me, great. If not, no worries whatsoever. And I think it's true in every single relationship. And that's what we're in, the relationship building business. So
100%. Now, let's talk a little bit about AI. Have you started implementing it into your business yet?
Not enough. And that's why we're going to have you come and talk to our team and do some things after we have a few projects going on right now, as you know, moving over and year end and, a whole bunch of stuff. So my plan actually in our growth plan for 2023 is to utilize some of the things that you have. So I'm excited for that. I kind of dove in a little bit of the webinars that you sent me, and it's just, I think over the break, there's a few things I really want to dive into, and that's one of them, because I think the future of, and I always say this, and I don't, maybe in 100 years when I'm not alive, but I don't think AI, computers, automation will ever take the place of human connection and interaction.
No.
And I say this all the time. Automation will never replace your relationships. However, automation can help you enhance your relationships.
100%.
And the simplest way to explain that is like having a CRM. If I am talking to a lady, talking to anybody, can be a man, woman, and say they're like, I'm not in the best mood right now. My kitten's sick. My cat is sick, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I'll give you my quarterly follow up next year. I hope you're doing okay. And I put a reminder on there, very simple, basic level automation, to remind me to call her in 3 months. And I put in the notes that I have. I talked to her, and she had a sick cat. And when I call her and I say, hey, Mrs. Smith, just want to check in. First of all, how's your cat doing? That can help enhance your relationship so much, because it's what's in here is only so much. If you can utilize that very easy, specific use, or AI and what you can do with it, and actually enhance who you are and how you're communicating with people. Because if you can meld the two together, it enhances. But you still have, I think that's one thing I worry about with people, is they want to remove themselves completely from any interaction, which at the end of the day, you need to use AI and automation to enhance your relationship.
Yeah, the automation is great to feed people through a funnel, but you have to make the calls, and you have to make have the conversations. Like, you can't get around that. Do I have AI that will make phone calls for you? Yeah, but I don't give them to anybody. Okay. I'm not giving them to realtors, because that's just, it's counterproductive. You need to have those conversations. Yes. So that's, I'm actually, you mentioned my webinars, Chris. I'm going to send you another one, because I'm having another one in eXp University, live in eXp University on the 13th.
Nice.
So I'll send that to you as well. That one's on content creation. So all the AI tools for content creation, which is going to be really cool. I try to do something different every month, right? There's so much. I have the luxury. So now that I am consulting for eXp, I'm consulting actually for another brokerage now too, and all these teams. This is now my full-time job. I have a team in place to take care of my production. Outside of my face-to-face with my clients, they handle all that for me. So I have the luxury to learn everything there is to know about AI where it relates to realtors. So I'm pretty on top of it. I'm creating some GPTs for realtors right now. I've already created one for building custom clauses for agents. They're preloaded.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it's preloaded with all our standard clauses here in Ontario, as a reference and a guide. And yeah, it's doing really well. I have one for listing descriptions, but it can literally create your whole listing description from your pictures and your address. You don't need to put in a bunch of,
Wow.
yeah, it'll read the pictures and create it. I have so
I
much.
could hire my marketing director and listing manager.
No, you shouldn't fire
I would
anybody.
never do that.
But this will, like, this
I would never.
seriously enhances everybody's, okay, Chris, for my coaching company, I have a marketing partner. Okay. She has her own marketing company and we are partners, profit share partners in my company. Can I do it all myself? Yes. Do I? Absolutely not. But now the AI is helping her. So it's making her more productive, right? So that's the whole key around it. We always talk about how AI helps you save time and money, but what nobody's talking about is how it can massively optimize anything you're creating. And that's what I love about it, right? So, okay, great. We're on the same page. We think AI is super important. Now, how is your team right now navigating the market? So I've got a couple listings up. I got a couple commercial. I've got a couple residential. The residential is not moving. I feel like the commercial is moving quicker than the res. What are you seeing right now in the Hamilton, Niagara markets?
Well, if you look at the data, like we track a lot of internal data. Inventory levels are seeing a massive spike after September, which we expected. Now we're seeing it go the opposite way. Anything that's priced well is still moving. I shouldn't say anything. Anything under 1.1 in the Hamilton, Stony Creek, Grimsby area is moving very, very quickly, in my personal opinion. For example, I got a listing that's coming up. It'll be kind of an investor kind of special. And we might have been able to push 550, but 550 right now for that property is not going to get it sold in a timely manner with people that are going to be actively pursuing it. A few things. It's only 800 square feet. And if it was done up, yes, it's perfect potential for a duplex. So talking to my clients and saying, guys, you want to sell this and sell it for the most amount of money possible. You have a very finite amount of time, 5 to 7 days, in order to get the most eyes on the property. If it's not priced well, effectively, we're going to have to reduce that after Christmas. And educating my clients on where that price should be. It's not as much they want, $550, but we're going to be at $499. And I can't guarantee anything, but with a lot of certainty, we're going to get multiple offers. And it's not undervalued whatsoever. At $500,000, there's a ton of value there. And if you look at the fundamentals of 800 square feet, it has to be not gutted, but it needs to be gutted. It's 2 bedrooms up, 1 downstairs, and it's not a legal duplex. All these fundamentals, I know it will sell at least 500, most likely more. And that's what I'm telling agents right now. Are you willing to bet if you don't get your commission, say it's 5% on $500,000. So are you willing to bet that if you don't sell this within the first 10 days, or at least get an offer on it, legitimate offer, are you willing to pay that client back $25,000? If you don't have that level of certainty in this market, I've seen it before where things are just staying on over like week after week after week. And I think a lot of this cresting or this decrease in listings, it's like if I showed you the graph is straight up and then it's coming straight back down. A lot of these listings are coming off the market. They're expiring at the end of the year. Same thing happened last year. You have this seasonality. So what I'm telling people is if you're not willing to bet the commission on you selling that property for at least 98% of value of the sales price, you're not doing what's in your client's best interest. And it's hard sometimes because sometimes you see the value in these things, like a townhome, like say nice Stony Creek townhome, last year $800,000. We got to be listing those things for close to $6,997 now in order to move it. Because if you want to sell it right now, you have to price it effectively. And if I said $750, maybe, but am I doing, depending on what it looks like, obviously in the square footage. But if I talk to my client and said, I'm not confident paying you the whatever $30,000 commission on that back, I can't confidently go home and tell my wife and kids that I'm doing the best job for you as my client. So $699, potentially $725 is where I can not guarantee it, but with a lot of certainty, as your professional, tell you that this will sell. That way, that person, it's not what everybody wants to hear, because I've lost so many listings or turned down listings in the last 6 months. There's a great example of one. I'm not going to say where it is. It was $1 million overpriced. This was 10 months ago. Now it's exactly where I told them it should be. But now the price has actually come down, so they're chasing the market down. So I don't believe in taking a listing unless the seller is willing to list it effectively, which means they trust what I'm telling them and they're actually listening to market data. I'd rather lose that listing than they come down 10 months later and sell it, because what does that look like for my brand? And what have I done as a professional? That's my name that's out there. I need to be able to, with every single ounce of my body, say, I'm confident this will sell at this price. And it's not always going to work, but if I do the opposite of that, I feel like I'm letting those clients down.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It's a time right now, right? Okay, so it's a time. And now we have Trezza. So we have a new set of regulations and rules around the way that we trade in real estate. And I gotta tell you, I watched a webinar and I'm like, what I got from it, I posted in a real estate group. And it was completely off. So I can just imagine where everybody else is with their understanding of the new rules. Since then, obviously, we have a lot of support at eXp from our brokers. They take amazing time out to teach everybody what's going on and be available to answer questions about Trezza. And you got to remember, everybody's like learning as they go. Is your team ready with all of this? Like, how are you feeling right now around the new Trezza regulations? And if you're a realtor and you don't know what that is, call me or Chris, like seriously. And right.
This is probably, people might hate me. Bless you if that was a sneeze. People might hate me about this, or realtors might. I love it. I absolutely love the fact that we're taking the professionalism back in this industry. And people that are worried about this stuff, worried about being more professional and learning something new, it's concerning to me. Even having that the 13-page document, that the larger working with a realtor, that should be mandatory regardless. People need to know what's going on, because our team, and again, not to pump our own tires, most of the stuff, we don't do multiple representation, never have. I don't believe in that, because how can you look after somebody's best interest if I'm representing both buyer and seller? I know it was legal in the past. I've never done that. I have in the past, but for the last 9 years with our team, I have in residential real estate, because I don't feel it is in the client's best interest. So when you're now working always with the client's best interest, and you need to be able to prove that, it is huge. And what I've seen, like when we have training for our team, one of the things that we do, whether it's new agents or an agent's been around for a while, we make them, they have to get designated to give their buyer presentation, their listing presentation. That comes with first educating the client as a professional. Like, these people have their largest, most important assets they'll ever own in our hands to deal with them correctly. And most of the time, people have no freaking clue what they sign. They sign an offer, and they don't realize there's been a BRA slipped in there. Now, if we're working with a client to go show them a property, we're not just opening the door. We need to be able to make sure they've had the information package signed to them and acknowledged, which is huge. And I've worked on videos to break that down for our clients, but to at least have the opportunity for them to ask questions and acknowledge that they know what a realtor is supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then signing representation paperwork in order for them to get true representation. Because think of the liability of an implicit representation with, I'm going to go show you, implied representation. I'm going to go show you a property, and you have all the liability with none of the written documentation. Like, it's not good for anybody. So I love it because we're all learning, and there's some things that are, yes, they're cumbersome and they're going to be different. But when I moved back to Canada 9 years ago, this is no disrespect to anybody. I was like, I almost wasn't going to do residential real estate. I was going to say commercial. I'm like, this is almost too easy because there was such a lack of professionalism in the bulk of the realtors. Some amazing realtors have always been great. They're very professional. But I think the barriers to entry for this business are so low that people get into it. They're like, I got my license, and they don't know what the heck to do. I was like that. 20 years ago, I did my first listing presentation. I had no idea what to do. I got the listing, and then I look back on that. I'm like, that should have never happened. I didn't have any training. I did 6 weeks of a course in Texas, and I got it. And I was like, hey, I'm going to sell your multi-million-dollar industrial property now. That's crazy.
I know.
So the fact that we have these things in place, and I'm hoping that as a group of professionals, our level of professionalism, I'm hoping that it allows us to be viewed as actual professionals with the general public, because I think there's such a used car salesman. One of my good buddies owns a used car dealership. He's amazing, but that used car dealership or used car salesman analogy, I hate that because this is my profession. It's all I've done my entire life. And I know why people get mad at that. And I get passionate. I'm like, no, let me show you what a true professional is supposed to be like. So long story short, I love it. I love the challenge. I love the dedication to customer, to their best interest. Mm-hmm. And I think at the end of the day, it's going to help us sign more contracts and representation agreements because we need to explain to people what that means. You need to have agreements signed before you give any service whatsoever. It's what other relationship in a professional business level is it like that, where you can just say, we'll do some stuff together, but I don't need to get you to sign anything. So it's true.
I know.
One thing I will say though is that some of the clauses all the clauses we're putting in all the representation agreements, because people are going to feel a little bit forced into it now. Mm-hmm. That's what we need to do. I'm putting in there specifically that this agreement can be canceled at any time, immediately in effect, with a written documentation, like an email to the designated rep. I would do that regardless, no matter what. But I'm going to have it in every single contract that we have.
I love that.
If somebody doesn't want to work with it,
can you send that to me?
That way they don't feel back. Yeah, for sure. And it's the other thing I'm putting in there as well is that I know we have the acknowledgement for the info form being sent out, and you can do it like they acknowledge it. I also have an email, a templated email saying this is what it is, and a 20-minute video of me explaining it, where it's been sent to them. They've acknowledged it online. They get the email, which is just, this is from our team lead for all our people. It can show that we've sent it to them, that they've watched it. And then on the agreement that we sign, you have read the RICO information guide and acknowledged it. You understand that if there's any of the JASA, whatever the JASA stands for, I can't remember right now, the services that we provide, that has to have a buyer's representation or listing representation signed. And the last thing is you can cancel this at any time, so you don't feel backed into a corner. You can get my services. You need to have this signed for both of our best interests, and you can cancel it at any time. I think that's going to be a massive thing for our people to explain it.
I love that. If you could share that with me and that video, Chris, I would appreciate that. And guys, that's what it looks like to be at eXp, where you can just call a top performer and ask them to share something with you. For those of you who don't know, I just wanted to throw that out there. Yeah, I'm super excited for everything. I'm excited for our market in 2024. I'm excited for everything that's happening right now. It's all about your outlook and how you're looking at things. You can either choose to, pick at the things that, are inconvenient, or you can embrace the change and really look at this in a positive way. Chris, for the realtors struggling out there right now, we are going into the new year. This is a new chance for them. Let's end this by give them one piece of advice. If you could give them one piece of advice moving forward into 2024, what would it be?
Build your database. That's it. That's the only advice any realtor should ever have. And you can do it any way that you want. But I got all these people that want to, do social media and have a click funnel come through like they're trying to sell a pen or like a little device. We're not in consumer sales.
Mm-hmm.
If you have somebody, I get a lot of people, I was the number one cell phone salesperson at my carrier. I'm like, that's amazing. But you had ready, willing buyers and you had products. And then all you did was combine the two and help them. That's amazing. It's customer service. You did not have to do client acquisition because you don't have a product and you don't have a buyer or seller. So you need to find both. So you need to make client acquisition higher than customer service. And people get freaked out about that. But I need to give the best customer service. I'm like, okay, how many customers do you have right now? Mm-hmm. If you don't have 10 people actively looking to buy and sell right now, you have a pipeline that's not full. And you're going to be more worried about your own personal income and these people closing than giving the best customer service. If I'm talking to more people, I get to communicate better and practice that. If I'm doing more with the new Trezza documents and the listing agreements and the buyer agreements, and I'm doing more of that by client acquisition first, I get to actually then provide better customer service. And if every single day I'm talking to more people, I'm building my database and following up with that database, I get to help more people with client acquisition first so that I can give them customer service. Anything else is, pardon my language, bullshit. And I think too many people are looking at 80 million different directions as opposed to just like, I need to talk and communicate with more people so I can build more relationship. With a 0% or 100% give with a 0% expectation return, and magically you're going to do and have more business than you can handle because you're doing the right things.
Yes.
So build your database.
I love that. That is some amazing advice, Chris. Thank you so much for coming on, and yay eXp. We are so lucky to have you. You are a force, and bring on 2024. Thank you so much, Chris, for coming on.
That's good. You're welcome. Thank you.